गौरांग गंधर्व गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत शिशिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत शिशिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्ट महाभगवत श्री गोक्षरस बाबूजी महाराज की जय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानुगौर्य गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल कोरमंडल व्रजमंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट विराट गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंद की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। जय श्री सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि की जय। श्री चैतन्य शिक्षाष्टक की जय। जय श्री कृष्ण दास कविराज गोसाई पाद की जय। श्री चैतन्य चरितमृत की जय। जय श्री भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर भजन रहस्य की जय। जय श्री रूप गोस्वामी भक्ति रसमित सिंधु की जय। जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। 1 second. All right, so let's do the Mangala Charan. Where is it? अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। श्रीसिद्धान्तसरस्वतीति विदितो गौडीय गुर्वन्वये भातो भानुरिव प्रभात गगने योगोरसङ्कीर्तनाय मायावारतिमिङ्गिलो दरगतान् उद्धृत्य जीवनिमान् कृष्णप्रेमसुधाब्धिगाहनसुखां प्रदत्प्रभुं तं भजे।
No sound, Prabhuji. Dandat pranams.
Okay. Now can you hear me? Haribo. Okay. Wow. Was it off that whole time? No. Okay. It just went off somehow. Okay. Cool. Thanks for mentioning everybody. Okay. Vrishabhanusutan vitavamattanum Yamuna tatanagaranandasutam Murali kalagita vinoraparang Bhaja godrumakanana kunjavidom Smara gauragadadara kelikalam Bhava gauragadadara pakshachara Shrinu Gauragadadhara Charukhatang Bhaja Godrumakanana Kunjavidum Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvang Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितराङ्गमदे कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् भज श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरे गौरभक्तवृन्द Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Saruparaya Sangha Harsha Shesha Ghoshanam Shikshanashtakatya Krishna Kirtanaika Poshanam Prema Nama Matra Vishvajivanaika Sambharang Prema Dama Devameva Nomi Gora Sundaram Premor Harsheryo Dvegadanyarti Mishritam Lapitangorachandrasya Bhagyavarbhirnishevyate Prabhur Shikshashtak Shloko Jai Pore Shune Krishne Prem Bhakti Tar Bare Dine Dine. Whoever reads or hears the Lord Shikshashtak verses will find their Prem Bhakti to Krishna growing more and more each day. And I'm not going to recite these two verses here because I decided to do a new program. I want to do all the verses in that section. All right. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Sorry for the sound problem. I don't know why I keep on getting all these sound problems with my computer. But pranams, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatharani Mataji, Sarveshwari Mataji, Haribo, Nitai Mukesh ji, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, Prema Mai Didi. And on YouTube and Facebook, I see Rohini Nandan Prabhu is there and a few other devotees. If you write a comment, I'll see your name. Maybe Indira Mataji and Raseshwari Mataji. And also pranams to all devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Jayadev Prabhu, and Revati Didi. Haribo. All right, so we are continuing our program. Yesterday, I mentioned that we were going to start the second verse, but then I just felt inspired all of a sudden. Like in Bhajana-rahasya, there's a verse leading to Chaitodarpanamarjanam. And then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains very clearly the process for attaining perfection, the method, the methodology, the siddha-praṇālī through Śikṣāṣṭakam. And it's such an essential part. It's like it's so important that I thought we really should just focus on this. And I don't know if anybody here would be interested in doing this, but I would like to try to memorize this verse by Rupa Goswami that leads into Cetodarpanamarjanam. Um, I was just thinking that, like, lots of times I like to go through lots of things, and like, okay, we finished that. Okay, now let's go through this thing, and then we finish that, and then, but then afterwards, what do I, what have I actually retained, and like, what do I get to keep with me? And like, if somebody asked me to explain right now, um, what were the verses that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, what verses did he take from different places to explain the different parts of Cetodarpana Marjanam? And like, what was the point in each verse that relates to, I wouldn't be able to say, because I kind of just rushed through it and I didn't take the time to really look and see how each one of these verses relates to each one of these, these seven excellent results of Cetodarpana Marjanam, Bhava Mahadavagni. He gave all these verses, mostly from Srimad Bhagavatam, I think. Um, so yeah, I would just like to do that. Yeah, not just rush through it without actually having gotten anything. So, um, one second. Okay, so I probably don't need to do another over. Oh, I'll just do really quickly. So in this first section of Bhajana-rahasya, Pratam Yam Sadhan, which is Nishanta, Bhajan, and Shraddha. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is the end of night. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he begins his Bhajana-rahasya with two pranam mantras to Mahaprabhu. One about how Mahaprabhu is accompanied by his Angos Upangos Ashtar Parshad, and he distributes Shri Harinam Sankirtan, and that's how he's worshipped. If you want to worship Mahaprabhu, the best way to worship him is through Nam Sankirtan Yagya. And then he gives a verse by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami from Stavavali, in which Mahaprabhu, he instructs the Gaudiya devotees to chant Harinam a fixed number. And then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives some verses describing the glories of Harinam. Like this, the first verse, how everything that you get in Satya Yuga by meditation, you can get that through Kirtan of Govinda in Kali Yuga. Yeah, just Kirtan of Govinda. You get the same result you get in Satya Yuga from meditation. And this Hari Nam destroys more sins than the most sinful person can commit. And then he gives a verse explaining how Kirtan is superior to Smaran. Because Smaran is very difficult and it's very difficult to concentrate the mind and really meditate. But with Kirtan, you just move your lips and then you're doing it. And then automatically Smaran will happen. And then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Bengali verses says that, and Smarana in Kirtan is superior to Archan. And then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives another verse from Hari Bhakti Vilas, says that after performing Archan to Vasudev for 100 births, then one may begin to chant Harinam, just to show the superiority of Harinam. So then, there he goes through the glories of Harinam. First thing, two pranam mantras to Mahaprabhu, and explains how to worship Mahaprabhu. Harinam Sankirtan, that's Mahaprabhu's instruction to everybody. Then he goes through the glories of Harinam, and then he goes through the development from Shraddha to Prem. And how this development from Shraddha to Prem relates to the pairs of names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and also how that relates to Śikṣāṣṭaka. And by the gradual removal, he explains the whole process very clearly, in a very clear, simple way, and how to the degree that our anarthas are destroyed, to that degree we make advancement and we get, to the degree that we make more advancement, the more we come closer to realizing our siddha-deha and our and the pastimes of Krishna, the more we realize ourselves, the more we realize that Krishna, they happen simultaneously. And so he goes through that progression. And then he goes back to the beginning. Okay, so now we know the whole progression all the way up to Prem. And now where do we begin from? So then he gives this verse by, oh, wait, no. Sorry, I missed something. So he goes through the whole progression all the way up till we reach Prem, but then he gives a warning that at any stage, no matter how high you get, if you fall into bad association, then from whatever point you made it to, you'll fall down. And it'll take a long time to where you where you can get back to where you were before. So, and so then he gives two verses. Um, describe like one verse says that it's better to be burned by fire or imprisoned in a cage than to associate with materialistic people. And it's better to embrace a snake or a tiger or an alligator than to, yeah, fall into the association of those who are materialistic and who worship demigods and like that. Um, okay, so be careful. That's he gives that warning. And now he's starting from the beginning. Before he goes into Cheto Darpana Marjanam, the first verse of Shikshashtak, he gives this verse by Srila Rupa Goswami from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which explains the power of nāmābhāsa. Because right now at this stage, I'm not chanting Shuddhanam, I'm chanting nāmābhāsa. So when we begin our practice, we're beginning with chanting nāmābhāsa, and from that we'll gradually, clean the mirror of the heart, and but it begins from that point. This is our so but yeah, first this is the verse I wanted to go through, and maybe I'm not sure if anybody would be interested in doing this, but maybe we can uh, even try to memorize it, or at least know the meaning of the words so clearly that it'll be really easy to memorize. So yeah, this gives this verse is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, second part. What is that? Dakshin, I think. Um, and chapter 1, verse 103. So this verse, and I looked at Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It looks like this verse is from Padma Puran. So it states, I was thinking before that Rupa Goswami wrote it, but I think it's Padma Puran. One second. I have where is it? Here. This is my reference file. I was looking at a bunch of different places. It says, yeah, Yata Parme. Yeah. There's a Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj's translation here. Actually, I was looking at different versions of this, and I found differences in three places. Um, we'll go through that when we're going over the verse. Like some versions, instead of guna nidhim, say guna nidhe. Some versions, instead of Shraddha Rajan, it says Shraddha Shuddhyan. And some versions, instead of saying Dvanta Rashim, it says Dvanta Dharam. So, yeah. Anyhow, okay. Remember these as I've mentioned, sorry, it's probably like a broken record, but um, these programs are my like it's kind of just my personal study. Like whatever I want to learn, I'm just doing it online. And yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it might be boring, or sometimes I don't know. But it seems like everybody keeps on showing up, so I think maybe you, yeah, people wrote comments that they like it. So, but yeah, I'm not actually teaching right now. I'm trying to figure it out all. So, um, okay. So, tongue, this is a very simple literal translation that I sort of made. But I was trying to follow the Sanskrit word order. But I mean, just so you know, I made this with the help of ChatGPT, but also looking at Bengali translations. not ChatGPT, I used Gemini, but this isn't a translation that I'd ever think of publishing. This is just, yeah. I did also compare it to Bengali translations, tried to figure out, but so but main thing is this isn't going to sound nice, this translation, but I was trying to follow the word order so that we can understand. So it'd be easy to understand the Sanskrit here. So sincerely worship him. Tongue means him. Who's him? That's Krishna. So sincerely, and then nir vyajam means without duplicity or sincerely. I just want to look up this word vyaja because I didn't do that yet. One second, let me just open up the Sanskrit dictionary. Vyaja. Okay, so the word vyaja means deceit, fraud, deception, imitation, disguise, pretext, pretense. Yeah. Wickedness also. Okay, and then in Apte says deceit, trick, deception, fraud, cunning. All right, so without any of that, wickedness, depravity. So without any kind of deceit or duplicity, completely sincerely, bhaja, worship tongue, worship him, worship Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna, who is Guna Nidhim. He is a nidhi, an ocean or a reservoir of guna, of good qualities. And in some versions, actually in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I looked in Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's original Bhajana-rahasya, and it says guna nidhe. Nidhe, that would make it in the vocative. So that would mean, oh, reservoir of divine qualities, or yeah. No, sorry. It'd just be like, oh, virtuous one, oh, ocean, oh, reservoir of good qualities. Worship him like that. But I looked in Bhakti Rasamrita, at least this version of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu published by Srila Bhakti Rakshak Srila Gosai Maharaj, and it says Guna Nidhim, which I like that better because see it says Guna Nidhim. I like that better because then these are qualities of Krishna. There are three qualities, like three ways that he's glorified. Guna Nidhim, that he's a reservoir of divine qualities, that he is Pavanam, Pavananam, that this could either mean he is the purifier of purifiers, of all purifiers, or he is among all people who purify, he is the most, um, he is the greatest purifier of all purifiers. And he is Uttama Shloka Molim. So those who are glorified by the topmost verses, the choicest verses, he is of those people, he is the molim, he is the foremost. So it says, Tam nirvyajam bhaja, worship him without duplicity, without deceit, complete with full sincerity. And then it says here, Shraddha Rajan Matir Atitaram. And Atitaram means exceedingly or wholeheartedly worship. It goes together with bhaja here, at least according to Srila Srila Gosai Maharaj. It goes, right? Let me just check really quick. He puts the word bhaja. Sorry, I should have done this more carefully before. Yeah, see, he says atitarang bhaja. So that means atishayena sevasya. So serve him wholeheartedly. I think wholeheartedly is a good way to say that. So it goes together with this word. Bhaja in the first verse is atitaram. So worship him sincerely, Shraddha Rajan Matir, with a mind that is imbued with or colored by are molded by, I don't know, I have to look up this word rajan, but with shraddha, with faith. And some versions say shuddhan matir. So with a mind purified by faith. Mati is like mind and intelligence, and I think it's like all those things, right? All those words I always get confused by, like, because they mean multiple things. Chitta, mati, let's see. Thought, design, intention, resolution, determination, inclination, wish, desire. Opinion, notion, idea, belief, conviction, view, creed. Anyways, I think mind is okay here. Your mind purified with shraddha. Okay. So then it says hanta. Hanta is like an exclamation, like, oh, ah, hanta. Prodyan anta karna kuhare yan nama bhanor abhasopi kshapayati mahapataka dvantarashim. So, um, okay. So, prodyan means rises. Anta karana kuhare means within the depths. Kuhare is like, um, actually, let's just look up kuhara. Kuhara is like, kuhara also means like cave, doesn't it? Or in the recesses of the heart. Let's see. Kuhara means cavity, hollow, hole. I think I'd say depths. Yeah. Yeah, see there it says cave, cavity, mountain cave. So with deep within your heart. Kuhara is like deep within your heart. Um, so when it prodyan, when it rises up within your heart, when it starts to rise up within your heart, that yan nāmābhāsa, that sun of the holy name, even just an abhas, just the dawning of that, just api means even just the abhas of that name, just the dawn, like when the sky starts to brighten a bit before the sunrise. We heard about Arunodoy, right? That's before the sunrise rises, before Suryodoy is Arunodoy, when the light begins to brighten before the sunrise. So just from that nāmābhāsa, when that rises within the depths of your heart, then kshapayati, it eradicates, it destroys mahapatak, the mahapatak. Mahapatak means the greatest sins. Dvanta, the darkness. Rashim means like the heaps, the mass of the darkness of the greatest sins. Mahapatak dvanta rashim kshapayati. It destroys, it eradicates all of that. Okay, so that was uh let me try now explaining it. Let's see. So nirvyajam bhaja tang, without duplicity, sincerely, bhaja, worship tang, him, with and no, it says atitarang bhaja. So worship him wholeheartedly, atitaram, with your with a mind that is colored, that is molded, shaped by with or no, that is oh God, I need to think figure out what rajam actually means. But also we see shuddham, which is purified with faith, with shraddha. Right? So worship him. And then it describes these three qualities, that he is guna nidham, that he is an ocean of qualities, that he is pavanam pavananam. He is the greatest purifier, the greatest savior of all purifiers, of all saviors. And he is Uttama Shloka Moolam. He is the crest jewel, he is the foremost of all those who are glorified by the choicest verses. Uttama Shloka, by the topmost verses. So when just an abhas, that means like the dawning, the faintest dawn, when even the faintest dawn of his name, which is like the sun, which is like a bhanu. Bhanu means sun, right? We know Vishabhanu, Bhanu means sun. So when the faintest dawn of the Bhanu, the sun of his name's like a sun. When that prodyan, when that arises within the depths, kuhare, within the depths of the antakaran, within the depths of the heart, and antakaran. Okay, so there's antakaran. Anyways, I'm just gonna. I'll get back to that. Then kshapayati. Then it eradicates the dvantarashim, the mass of darkness of mahapataka, of the most grievous sins. So antakaran is, if I understand correctly, there's the antakaran and the bahyakaran. Antakaran is all the things that happen internally. So like there's the mind, the intelligence, the false ego, all the samskars, all that is all the internal instruments or internal things that do stuff. And then the bahya karana refers to all the external things like the senses and the body and all that. So so when it arises within the self, then even just the most faint rising, the faintest dawning, the abhas of that sun of the name, when that arises prodyan within the depths, kuhare, of the antakaran, within the internal self, then kshapayati, it eradicates mahapatak dvantarashim, the mass of darkness of mahapataka, with the most grievous sins. Just an abhas. And we see in this verse, it mentions Shraddha, that we must worship him from Shraddha. That's the first stage in the progression towards Prem, is first we develop Shraddha. And we worship him without duplicity, sincerely, nirvyajam. And now this is the introduction to Chaitodarpanamarjanam. And then we can begin. Once we are following this verse, we are with faith, we are sincerely worshiping Krishna, and we're chanting even just the abhas of the name, then that's the beginning. That's the dawning of our progress in our eternal, understanding who I really am and what is my dharma and to serve Sri Krishna. So, and then he begins Chaito Darpana Marjanam. So this is the preliminary, the prerequisite for Chaito Darpana Marjanam. And now Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he explains this. Maybe at the end of the session I can do a verse memorization thing. If if anybody wants to do that, I'll do it after Jaidwani though, so that people can go if they don't want to stay for that. So then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he translates this verse, and these two Bengali verses here. Parama pavana Krishna tahara charan nishkapata shraddha saha koroho bhajan. So, Parama Pavana Krishna. Krishna is the Parama Pavan. He is the supreme purifier. He's supremely purifying. So, Tahar Charan, so his lotus feet, Nishkapat, Shraddha Saha, Koroho Bhajan. So, serve, worship, perform bhajan of Nishkapat Shraddha. Saha means with. So with Nishkapat Shraddha, with non-duplicitous faith, with guileless faith, sincere faith, worship his feet. That supremely purifying Krishna. Jarna means whose name, Suryabhas Antare Praveshi, having risen, Antare within, just an abhas of the sun, just the dawning of the sun, Dhvangsakore, then it destroys, Dhvangsakore, it destroys Mahapap, the greatest sins, and the Andhakara Rashi, the mass of darkness. Of Andhakara means darkness, Rashi means the mass. That mass of darkness of Mahapap. So Krishna, whose name, Suryabhas Antara Praveshi, having entered within just the faintest glow of that sun, Dhvangsakori, it destroys Mahapap, the greatest sins, that Andhakara Rashi, that mass of darkness. So Parama Pavana Krishna Tahara Charan Nishkapata Shraddha Saha Koroho Bhajan Jar Nama Surya Bhas Antare Praveshi Dhvangsa Kore Mahapap Andhakar Rashi. And now, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in these next verses. Sorry, one second. Now he's giving this is our siddha-praṇālī. He's explaining the methodology of attaining perfection through Śikṣāṣṭaka. This is the way that we attain perfection, is through Śikṣāṣṭaka. And now he's explaining how we do it. What's the process? What's the methodology of going through Śikṣāṣṭaka in a way that will help us attain perfection, where we actually realize our swarup, who we are, how we serve, what is our relationship with Krishna, what are our feelings for Krishna, what is my eternal service for Krishna, all the details. How does Śikṣāṣṭaka make that happen? He's explaining here. He says, E Śikṣāṣṭake kohe Krishna lila kram. Ihate bhajana krame lilar udgam. So this Śikṣāṣṭaka kohe. So this A means this, Śikṣāṣṭaka kohe, tells. Kohe means tells. What does it tell? Krishna lila kram. The Śikṣāṣṭaka tells the kram, the sequence or the progression of Krishna's pastimes. Isn't that amazing? How does Śikṣāṣṭaka tell about Krishna's pastimes, the progression of Krishna's pastimes, or the sequence? I think progression, sequence is a better word. The sequence of Krishna's pastime throughout the 8 times of the day. Ihate, within this Śikṣāṣṭakam, in it, bhajana krame, through systematic performance of bhajan, then lilar udgam, these pastimes, this lila udgam, arises or awakens within the heart. So actually all the pastimes of Krishna, all the 8-fold pastimes of Krishna throughout the 8 periods of the day is all contained within Śikṣāṣṭaka. And when you perform bhajan with this Śikṣāṣṭaka, then these leelas will awaken within the heart. And what I understand is that it's well, anyways, like we looked at that chart, with the removal of anarthas, then we get to higher levels of realization. You know, the more we clean our hearts, the more cheto darpana marjanam, then the more we're able to see who I am. And along with realization of the self is realization of the Lord. They happen simultaneously. And when you realize the Lord, the more you realize the Lord, the more you'll begin to able to see who he is, and gradually you'll get to the point where you can see his pastimes. And there's 2 levels to the Śikṣāṣṭaka. There's Śikṣāṣṭaka for sadhaks, like for beginning sadhaks, and then there's and we see Śikṣāṣṭaka and it works on us and we see it in one particular way. And then there's a deeper level. Once you've attained bhav, then all these verses of Śikṣāṣṭaka, you see it in a completely different way, and they relate to the 8 past time periods of the day, Krishna's pastimes throughout the 8 periods of the day. So Yeah, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? It's like this, the practice is the same, but it's on two completely different levels. There's the level of before bhav, like when we're still in performing sadhan bhakti, and then there's the level after attaining bhav. Um, okay, so pratame pratam shloka bhajo kichu din. So pratame, firstly, pratam shlok, the first shlok, bhajo kichu din. For kichu din, for some days, perform bhajan or worship Krishna or serve, engage in bhajan through the first verse, the pratam shlok, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. And then after performing that for a few days, for Kichudin, some days, Dvitiya shlokete tabe hoto praveen. Then you'll become proficient. Hoto, you'll become praveen, proficient. Tabe, then tabe means then. In the Dvitiya shloka, within the second verse. So first engage with the first verse for some days, then in the second verse, you will become proficient. And then, Chari shloke kramasha bhajana pakvakoro. So through the Chari shloke means through the first four verses. Chari is four, shloke through the verses. So through the first four verses, kramasha, gradually, bhajan pakvakoro. Then pakva koro means make it mature, make your bhajan mature. Make your bhajan mature gradually through the first four verses. And then panchama shlokete nija siddha deha varo. And then in the fifth verse, panchama shloke nija siddha deha varo. Then, and I thought a good way to translate vara, because vara can mean choosing, but it also means, if you look at it in the dictionary, it means accepting, embracing, like that. So embrace your own spiritual body, your nija siddha deha. So that's ainanda tanuja kinkaram. At the stage of ainanda tanuja kinkaram, then you embrace your spiritual body. I want to see the chart. Bhajana-rahasya chart. There it is. Just want to see. Okay, let's see. So first verse of Śikṣāṣṭaka is Cheto Darpana Marjanam. That's Shraddha. Then the second verse of Śikṣāṣṭaka is Sadhu Sangha Bhajana Kriya and Anartha Nivritti. These all happen simultaneously. Where in Sadhu Sangha, the sadhus give us instructions to engage in bhajan, and when we engage in bhajan, then the anartha starts to go away. So they all happen together. It's like one thing. So that's nāmābhāsa bahuda nijasarva shaktis. Then we come to trinadapi sanichena, and that stage when we're giving all respect to others, not wanting any respect for ourselves, being more tolerant than a tree, and sorry, I mixed up the order, and lower than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, not wanting any respect for yourself, giving all respect to others. That's the stage of nishta. And it's at that stage that we can chant Harinam all the time. That's the qualification to chant Harinam all the time. And then ruchi. Ruchi is the fourth verse, Nadhanam najanam nasundarim. Right? When you actually have ruchi in for the practice of bhajan, then you don't want anything else. You don't want any dhan, and you don't want any wealth, no followers, all these different things. All you want is just birth after birth. May I have ahaituki bhakti for you, O Krishna. So that's the stage of ruchi. And then finally, we come to the fifth verse, Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitamam, and that's the stage of asakti. And it is at the stage of asakti when nija siddha deha vara, when we embrace our own spiritual body. That's when you start to have realization of all the details, who you are, What is your form? What is your mood? The ekadasha bhavs, that all begins at the stage of asakti, which is related to the verse Ainanda Tunuja Kinkaram. And for those who are in following in Madhuras, then they take shelter at this stage. They take shelter of the feet of Shri Radha. Oi shloke. Oi shloke means in that verse. What verse? Ainanda Tunuja Kinkaram. Siddha-dehe Radha Padashai. Then within your siddha-deha, within your perfected body, your spiritual body, Radha Padashai, then you take shelter of Shri Radha's lotus feet. And Aramba Koriya Krame Unnati Udoy. I'm just a thought came in my head. This Śikṣāṣṭaka is Mahaprabhu. Like Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Srimati Radhika, right? And so when he says this verse, Ainanda Tunuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha, he's praying to become attached or fixed to just one speck of dust affixed to the feet of Sri Krishna. That he's praying in that way. But then for us following in the line of Rupa Goswami, Rupa Nugas, and our aspiration is to serve under Rupa Goswami, Rupa Manjari, like that. So then when we see this verse, then we see it as, I want to take shelter of Shri Radha's lotus feet. I don't know. That's just my speculation, because Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that's what this verse is about, right? Becoming a dust particle affixed to the lotus feet. And here Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, within your siddha-deha, take shelter of Radha's feet. Then Aramba Koriya Krame Unnati Udoy. And then advancement, then so this all goes together. It says Radha Padashray Aramba Koriya. So having begun to take shelter of Shri Radha's lotus feet within your siddha-deha, then Krame Unnati Udoy. Then gradually, Krame means gradually, Unnati Udoy. This advancement, Unnati, Udoy will arise. You'll start to you'll start to rise up in this process. And then Choy Shlok Bhajite Anartha Dure Gelo. Then by practicing the Choy Shlok Bhajite. So now when you worship, when you perform bhajan, according to the 6th verse, Anartha Dure Gelo, then all anarthas will go away. They'll be destroyed. Dur means far away, and Gelo means goes away. And so they'll go far away. They'll be removed. Tabe jano siddha-dehe adhikar hoilo. Then know that the adhikar, that the eligibility for your siddha-deha has been achieved. You've achieved eligibility for your siddha-deha. First, at the stage of asakti, you're just understanding what your siddha-deha, you're starting to understand what is your siddha-deha, what is your mood, all these details. And then at the 6th verse, which is Nayanam Galada Ashuddharaya, then that's the stage of bhav. Then you actually start to, understand your siddha-deha even more, and maybe even engage in your siddha-deha to some extent. Then, then you've attained eligibility for your spiritual body. Then, adhikara na labhiya siddha-deha bhave. So those who've not attained this adhikar, this eligibility, and they siddha-deha bhave, they think about a siddha-deha, about a spiritual body, then viparya buddhi janme. Then viparya buddhi, that means a mistaken intelligence. I looked up the word viparya, means opposition, contrariety, inversion, reverse, confusion, destruction, devastation, disaster, peril, ruin. So all these words. So you get a very backwards type of thinking, backwards intelligence. It's the complete reverse, the opposite idea. that completely opposite disastrous idea, intelligence takes birth, janme. Why? Because shaktir abhave, because you're devoid, you lack spiritual strength, you lack the shakti to be able to think about your siddha-deha. So no, we're not going to jump. Once we come to the stage of bhav, then we have adhikar for our siddha-deha. So savadhane, very carefully, kramadharo, follow this progressive sequence, this progressive path. Jadi siddha chao, if you want to attain siddhi, perfection. Chao means want. Jadi means if. If you want perfection, if you want this perfection, then very carefully, savadhane kramadharo, follow this progressive path. And sadur charita deki shuddha buddhi pao. Having observed the character of sadhus, shuddha buddhi pao, then gain pure intelligence, having observed the character of sadhus. That's what it means. One thing in Bengali, whenever you see an apostrophe like this, that apostrophe is a contraction for iya, like that. So that actually says dekhiya. Dekhiya means having observed, having seen the charitra of sadhus, shuddha buddhi pao, then gain a pure intelligence. Okay. Siddha deha pe, then having obtained your spiritual form, your siddha deha, krame bhajana korile, if you engage in bhajan sequentially, in sequence, then ashtakal seva sukh anayase mile. Then automatically, very easily, anayase means very easily, naturally, automatically, you'll mile means you'll meet with, you'll gain the seva sukh, the joy of service, of seva. Sukh means joy, the joy of seva, ashtakal, throughout the 8 periods of the day. This happens automatically, very easily. You don't need to struggle at all. You'll just naturally start to engage in the service happily and throughout the 8 periods of the day, Krishna's pastimes. So, Śikṣāṣṭaka chinta koro, smarana kirtan. So contemplate the Śikṣāṣṭaka and perform smaran and kirtan. Then krame, then gradually, ashtakal seva, the service throughout the 8 periods of the day, habe udipan, will be awakened. Udipan habe. Then shakal anartha jabe, all anarthas will go away. Shakal means all anarthas, jabe will go. And pabe prem dhan, and the treasure of prem, you will attain the treasure of prem. So jabe means goes, pabe means gets. The anarthas will go, and then you get prem. That leaves and that thing comes. Shakal anartha jabe, pabe prem dhan. Chatur varga falgu prai. And all the 4 goals that like the 4 goals within this world's dharma, artha, kama, and moksha will become like completely useless. Falgu, just completely insignificant. Like, what is that? And they'll habe adarshan, and they will completely disappear from sight. Adarshan. We know the word darshan, and the opposite of darshan is adarshan. That means disappearing from sight. So this is siddha-praṇālī. Very clear. And so I thought maybe at the beginning of our programs every day, we can I can just recite this. Now we have some kind of understanding of all the words, right? So I thought it won't take that long. It'll take like 30 seconds probably or a minute. And so at the beginning of our program each day, I want to recite these verses here. Just so that every day this idea of how this Shikshashtak is this is the methodology for attaining siddhi. This is our siddha-praṇālī. It'll just become more and more clear. And I don't know, just to really emphasize that point, I think it'd be really helpful. Let's just recite this all one time through. So tam nirvyajam sorry. Tam nirvyajam bhajagunanidhim pavanam pavananam Shraddharajan matiratit matiratitaram uttama shlokamolim prodyan anta karana kuhare hantayan nama bhanor abhasopi kshapayati maha pataka dvantarashim. One more time. Tang nirvyajam bhajagunanidhim pavanam pavananam shraddharajan matiratitaram uttama shlokamolim prodyan anta karana kuhare hantayan nama bhanor Abhasopi kshapayati maha pataka dvantarashim. This is a nice verse to recite before japa, especially for somebody at a stage like me where I have no taste. I've like not even really begun the process properly. This is the beginning. Start from here. in sadhan, in our practice, but even before Cetodarpana Marjanam, we just start from here. And then these verses. Parama pavana Krishna tahara charan nishkapata shraddha saha koroho bhajan jar nama surya-bhāsa antare praveshi dhvangsa kore mahapap andhakar rashi e shikshaṣṭake kohe Krishna lila kram ihate bhajana krame lilar udgam pratame Pratame pratama shloka bhajo kichu din, dvitiya shlokete tabe hoto praveen. Chari shloke kramasha bhajana pakva koro, panchama shlokete nija siddha deha varo. Oe shloke siddha dehe radha padashray, arambha koriya krame unnati udoy. Chai shloka bhajite anartha dure gelo, তবে জানো সিদ্ধ দেহে অধিকার হইল অধিকার না লভিয়া সিদ্ধ দেহ ভাবে বিপর্যয় বিপর্যয় বুদ্ধি জন্মে শক্তির অভাবে সাবধানে ক্রম ধরো যদি সিদ্ধি চাও সাধুর চরিত্র দেখি শুদ্ধ বুদ্ধি পাও সিদ্ধ দেহ পেয়ে ক্রমে ভজন করিলে অষ্টকাল সেবা সুখ অনায়াসে মিলে শিক্ষাষ্টক চিন্তা করো স্মরণ কীর্তন ক্রমে অষ্টকাল সেবা হবে উদ্দীপন সকল অনর্থ যাবে পাবে প্রেম ধন চতুর্বর্গ ফলগু প্রায় হবে অদর্শন জয় শ্রী শিক্ষাষ্টক কি জয়. All right. So that's our program for today. I'll just do a short Mahamantra, Jaidvani. If anybody has anything they want to mention, they can. And then if anybody wants to try to memorize this verse, maybe I'll see if anybody wants to try to memorize this verse. And if anybody wants to stay for extra time, you can. All right. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, just if we recite those verses every day, then that point will just become more and more etched into my mind that, okay, I have Shikshashtak and I have Mahamantra. Okay, this is what I got. Now this is everything I need to make progress. This is the entire process right here. Shikshashtak, Mahamantra. Um, yeah. All right. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Guru Dev Ki Jai. Jai Shri Param Guru Dev Ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Swaparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopikan Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Shikshashtaka ki Jai, Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki Jai, Jai Shri Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Bhajana-rahasya ki Jai, Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki Jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams. Yeah, and if we aren't thinking about Shikshashtakam and spending some time reciting Shikshashtakam, thinking about it, if that's not part of our day at all, then you're not following the process. It's like you're not doing the thing to achieve to make any progress. It's two things. It's Shikshashtakam and Harinam. They both they both have to be performed, right? He says otherwise you're not going to rise to the next level of nishta. Sorry, the next level of sadhusanga bhajana kriya and anartha nivritti, and then the next level of nishta and like that. If you're not following the process, how are you going to um, yeah, like all emphasis has to be given on two things, Harinam Sankirtan and Shikshashtak. And then you can then that's the way that you can start making progress in attaining perfection, siddhi. Is there any points anybody wants to mention related to anything that we read? Okay, so I if anybody needs to go now, thank you so much for joining. Let's see who's here. Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Nitai Mukesh ji, Sarveshwari Mataji, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, Chatamai Mataji, and Rohini Nandan Prabhu, Vidyalala Sadidi, Kargraj ji, and all the other devotees. I don't know who's there. Write a comment, I'll know your name. Intira Mataji, maybe. And also devotees watching in the future, Shachi Devi, Raseshwari Mataji, Revati Didi, Jai Dev Prabhu, Haribol. Yeah, so if anybody wants to try to memorize this verse with me, I'm going to try to memorize it right now. um, yeah. And then tomorrow, yeah, what I'm thinking we should do tomorrow is go through the verses that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur more carefully, because I just really rushed through that. And I actually didn't see how these verses relate to these different sections of the first verse of Shikshashtakam. So I want to become more clear on that. Yeah, so I think that will be our program tomorrow. And then when we finish that, then finally we'll move to verse number 2 of Shikshashtaka. I got everything ready for verse 2, and I was thinking that we're going to start, and then all of a sudden I felt like I actually I don't have anything tangible like that I retained from this first verse that like I need to spend a little bit more time. So I see Madhubala Didi Dandavat Pranams. She Madhubala is asking how do we find this poster. Um, this poster, like what I have here right now, this file I'm not allowed to share because this is the print file. This is like this file that we send to the printers. See, it's like really high resolution. Um, but I think I can export it just so it's not the print file um, and it'll be clear enough so that you can understand it, but it's not the actual print file. And I think I could probably share that. Yeah. Yeah, this chart is awesome. Vaijanti Mala Mataji made that chart. Okay. Um, so now, yeah, Dandavat Pranams if anybody needs to go now. Yeah, and now I'm gonna go through the verse. Oh, sorry, I didn't see everybody was here. I skipped Prema Mai Didi and Anadi Krishna Prabhu Dandavat Pranams. I think I already said Chatamai Mataji, right? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, not all the names come up on the screen. I have to click this arrow and then I see everybody else who joined. Okay. So let's see. So this verse is in the same meter as the last verse of Upadeshamrita, Krishna Syochai Pranaya Vasati Preyasi Bhyo Biradha. So the meter is like this. Let's see. I think I'm just doing this sign for now because it's easy to type on my keyboard. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Tam nirvyajam. And then short syllables is, I'll just do these ones. Like Bhajaguna ni, and then a long one, nidhim, and then there's a pause, and then pa va, oops, pa va nang, uh, pa va nam, no, it's like that. This isn't the best thing. I should use something that looks more distinct. Let's make it dot, 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 like that. Okay, so this is the meter. Na 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 na, and then na 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 na. So sorry, let me do this better. Na 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 na, I'm sorry. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. That's the meter. Okay, so tam nirvyajam bhajagunanidhim pavanam pavananam shraddharajan matiratitaram uttama shlokamulim prodyananta karanakuhare hantayan nāmābhānor Abhasopi kshapayati maha pataka dvantarashim. That's the meter. Oh, and there's a pause after these first four. So, yeah. Da, 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 pause. Da, 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 pause. Da, 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 da. That's the meter. So, okay, let's try to memorize this first line. Tang nirvyajam Tang nirvyajam bhaja. So worship him without duplicity, basically, without deceit. Nirvyajam, without deceit. In other words, sincerely. So worship him sincerely. Tang nirvyajam bhaja. And what are some of his qualities? He's guna nidhim. He is an ocean of good qualities, and he is the supreme purifier of all purifiers. Pavanam pavananam. Pavanam means the deliverer or the purifier, and pavananam means of all purifiers. He is the purifier of all purifiers. That's what it literally means. Oh, and just one thing in Sanskrit, all these are in the accusative case. So it says bhaja, worship. Worship who? And then these are all in the accusative case, means the gunanidhim, the pavanam pavananam, and the uttama shloka molim. See how all these end with an M? That means the accusative case. That means worship this person, this person, this person. You know, these three qualities. He is gunanidhim, one. He is pavanam pavananam, that's two. And he is uttama shloka molim. He is the foremost of all who are glorified with the choicest verses, the topmost verses. Uttama shloka. So, tam nirvyajang bhaja gunanidhim. Him, without duplicity, worship the ocean of good qualities, guna, divine qualities. Tam nirvyajam bhaja gunanidhim. Tam nirvyajam bhaja gunanidhim. Really try to think of the meaning of the words. Tam means, see, tam is also in the accusative case. Worship who? Worship tam, it has the M at the end. So, tam nirvyajam bhaja gunanidhim. Tam nirvyajam bhaja gunanidhim. Tam nirvyajam bhaja gunanidhim. Sincerely worship him, the ocean of divine qualities. Tam nirvyajam bhaja gunanidhim. Tam nirvyajam bhaja gunanidhim. Let's try that without looking now. Tam nirvyajam bhaja gunanidhim. Tam nirvyajam bhaja gunanidhim. Tam nirvyajam bhaja gunanidhim. And then the next part was pavanam pavananam. He is the supreme purifier among all purifiers. Pavanam pavananam. The pavanam, the purifier. Pavananam, of all purifiers. Pavanam pavananam. Pavanam pavananam. Actually, Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj translates this as, let me just look at how Srila Sridhar Goswami is pavanam pavananam. It was different. It was here. Here's a reference file. It says, one second. Oops, I'm looking at the Tika. Here. Pavitrakari digero pavitra karak. So pavitrakari means those who purify. So towards them, even towards those who purify, he purifies pavitrakarak. He's a purifier of those who purify. That's it. That's how Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj translates that. Pavitrakari digero pavitrakarak. He is the purifier of the purifiers. The purifier of all purifiers. So that's another way of looking at it. You can say he is the supreme purifier among all purifiers, or he is the purifier of all purifiers. So pavanam pavananam. Pavanam pavananam. Pavanam pavananam. Pavanam pavananam. Pavanam pavananam. Pavanam pavananam. Say that. Pavanam pavananam. You can try saying it on your own. Pavanam pavananam. So, from the beginning, tam nirvyajam bhajagunanidhim. Pavanam pavananam. Tang him nirvyajam, without duplicity, bhaja worship. He who is gunanidim, an ocean of good qualities, and the purifier of all purifiers. Pavanam pavananam. Tam nirvyajam bhaja gunanidhim. Pavanam pavananam. Let's try it without looking now. Remember, tam nirvyajam bhaja gunanidhim. Tam nirvyajam bhaja gunanidhim. Pavanam pavananam. Sorry, I messed up there. Tam nirvyajam bhaja gunanidhim. Pavanam pavananam. I'll say it one more time myself, and then you can try saying it. Tam nirvyaja sorry. Tam nirvyajam bhajana gunanidhim. Pavanam pavananam. Now you try saying it. Okay, now the next line. Shraddharajan. So colored with Shraddha. Matir, with your intelligence, your minds, colored by Shraddha. Atitaram, wholeheartedly serving him, with a mind which is colored by Shraddha. Let's see how Srila Sridhar Goswami actually says that. Shraddha dvara vishuddhamati hoya. Okay, so he's using the other translation, the other Sanskrit word which says shuddhan. Shuddhan means purified, with a mind purified by Shraddha, with faith. Shraddha dvara vishuddhamati hoya. Yeah, with a mind purified by faith, or with a mind which is colored by faith. Atitaram, wholeheartedly. Who? Again, it gives a third one. Uttama shloka molim. He is the foremost of those who are glorified with the topmost verses. So the Uttama shloka. So, Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. With a minds colored by faith, wholeheartedly worship him. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Atitaram means wholeheartedly, right? Exceeding, atitaram. Actually, I want to look up that word, atitaram. Atitaram is like exceedingly. Atitaram. Atitaram means higher, more. No, very much, exceedingly, excessively. Worship him excessively, absolutely, exceedingly. Worship him more and more and more and more. Atitaram. Srila Prabhupada translates it as entirely, excessively, greatly, highly. Okay, so atitaram. Shraddha Rajan Matir, with a mind which is colored by Shraddha, which is, atitaram. I don't know, how do we look up the word Rajan? That's, because it's not, I don't think anything is going to come up. We type in Rajan. Because I have to look at, because it's a different form of the word. Let's see. Being enlivened. Srila Prabhupada translates it as being enlivened in this Chaitanya Charitamrita verse. So that's nice. Being enlivened with Shraddha. With a mind which is enlivened with Shraddha, with faith. So, Shraddharajan Matiratitaram, with a mind that is enlivened with Shraddha, wholeheartedly worship him. Worship Uttama Shlokamulim. Okay, let's try to memorize this one. Let's just say this 2 times, looking and then without looking. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. With a mind enlivened with faith, wholeheartedly worship. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. One last time, I'm going to say it and then you try saying it. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Okay, now you try saying it. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Uttama Shlokamulim. Uttama Shlokamulim. Molim means foremost, the crest jewel of those who are Uttama Shloka, who are glorified with the Uttama Shloka, with the topmost verses, the choicest verses. So I actually, that's such an awesome thing. The Uttama Shloka, like the best glorifications you can think of, the Uttama means topmost, Shloka, verses of praise. So he is the foremost of those who are praised with the best verses. Okay, so Uttama Shlokamulim. Uttama Shlokamulim. Uttama Shlokamulim. Uttama Shlokamulim. I think you have that memorized, right? Uttama Shloka Molim, foremost. Molim means foremost. Uttama Shloka Molim. Uttama Shloka Molim. Okay. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Uttama Shloka Molim. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Uttama Shlokamulim. One last time, looking and then without looking. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Uttama Shlokamulim. With a mind enlivened with Shraddha. Uttama Shlokamulim. Attitaram. Wholeheartedly worship him, the Uttama Shlokamulim. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Uttama Shlokamulim. Sorry, I didn't do the meter right there. Sorry, my mind sometimes goes blank when Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Uttama Shlokamulim. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Uttama Shlokamulim. Now you try saying it on your own. Shraddharajan Matiratitaram. Uttama Shlokamulim. Okay. Now let's look at the third line. Prodyan anta karanakuhare. So within the recesses of the antakaran, prodyan, it arises. when it arises. Prodyan means arises, antakarana kuhare, within the depths of one's antakarana, within the depths of one inside, within oneself. That can refer to the mind, intelligence, false ego, impressions, all that internal thing. When that arises internally, deep within, then what does it do? Just an abhas of that son of the name, when that arises within, kshapayati, it destroys all the darkest, greatest sins. So this first part, when it arises within the recesses of the heart, within oneself. Prodyan anta karana kuhare. When it arises deep within, yeah. Prodyan anta karana kuhare. Prodyan anta karana kuhare. Prodyan anta karana kuhare. So I'm doing it too high for ladies, aren't I? Prodyan anta karana kuhare. When it rises deep within antakarana, deep with, and kuhare, within the recesses of the self. Prodyan anta karana kuhare. Prodyan anta karana kuhare. Prodyan anta karana kuhare. Prodyan, when it rises, it just means rises, right? Anta karana kuhare. Prodyan anta karana kuhare. Prodyan anta karana kuhare. Let's do it without looking now. Prodyan anta karana kuhare. Prodyan anta karana kuhare. Prodyan anta karana kuhare. Now you try saying it. Prodyan anta karana kuhare. Prodyan anta karana kuhare. Prodyan anta karana kuhare. Now let's see this next. Hanta. Hanta means like, oh, alas, oh, it's an exclamation. Hanta. Hanta yan nāmābhāsa. Yan means whose, nam, name, bhanur, the son of whose name, the son of whose name. Oh, anhanta, oh, the son of whose name, abhasopi, even an abhas, just uh, a dim dawning of whose name, the son of whose name. So this goes together. Yan nāmābhāsa abhasopi. That's all like one thing together. So the slight dawning of the son of whose name, kshapayati, destroys mahapatak dvantarashim. Okay, so hantayan nāmābhāsa. Oh, the son of whose name? Oh, the son of whose name? Hantayan nāmābhāsa. Hantayan nāmābhāsa. Okay, so hanta, yan, whose name, bhanur, son. Whose name, son? Oh, whose name, son? The son of whose name? Hantayan nāmābhāsa. Hantayan nāmābhāsa. Hantayan nāmābhāsa. Hantayan nāmābhāsa. Hantayan nāmābhāsa. Bhanur means son. Hantayan nāmābhāsa. Now let's try that without looking. Hantayan nāmābhāsa. Hantayan nāmābhāsa. Hantayan nāmābhāsa. Now you try saying it. hantayan nāmābhānor. Okay, now. Prodyananta karanakuhare hantayan nāmābhānor. Prodyananta karanakuhare hantayan nāmābhānor. Prodyananta karanakuhare hantayan nāmābhānor. Sorry. um, Prodyan antakarana kuhare hantayan nāmābhānor. Prodam antakarana kuhare hantayan nāmābhānor. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time and then you try saying it on your own. Prodyan, it arises. Antakarana kuhare, deep within the recesses of the heart, antakarana. So, prodyan antakarana kuhare, hantayan nāmābhānor. Prodam antakarana kuhare, hantayan nāmābhānor. Now you try saying it. Prodyan antakarana kuhare, hantayan nāmābhānor. Okay, now the last line. Abhasopi, abhasopi, even an abhas, even a dim glimmer or a dim dawning, a faintest dawn. Abhaso is the faintest dawn. Api, even the faintest dawn. Abhasopi, abhasopi, kshapayati maha. Kshapayati means it eradicates, it destroys. Kshapayati, it destroys. Maha, the great, and the great what? Greatest offense. Greatest sins. But anyways, we'll get there. But abhasopi kshapayati maha. Abhasopi, even the faintest dawn. Kshapayati eradicates the greatest. We'll get there. Abhasopi kshapayati maha. Kshapayati. Remember, kshapayati, kshapayati, kshapayati. Kshapayati means eradicates. Kshapayati eradicates. Abhasopi kshapayati maha. 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 Try to think of the meaning when you say it also. Even the faintest dawn eradicates. Even the faintest dawn eradicates. Even the faintest dawn eradicates. Abhasopi kshapayati. Abhasopi kshapayati. Abhasopi kshapayati. Abhasopi kshapayati maha. Sorry, I forgot to say the word maha. We know the word maha. Maha is the greatest. Abhasopi kshapayati maha. Abhasopi kshayapati maha. Okay, let's now try it without looking. Abhasopi kshapayati maha. Okay, let's say that without looking. Abhasopi kshapayati maha. Abhasopi kshapayati maha. Abhasopi, even the faintest dawn. Kshapayati, it eradicates. Maha, the greatest. Abhasopi kshapayati maha. Okay, I'll say it one last time and then you say it on your own. Abhasopi kshapayati maha. Now you say it. Abhasopi kshapayati maha. Pataka dvantarashim. The greatest pataka, the greatest sin. Dvanta rashim. The mass of the darkness of the greatest sin. Mahapataka. Dvanta is the darkness. Rashim, the mass of darkness from the greatest sin. Just the faintest dawn, the abhas, even the faintest dawn, even the abhas of the Bhanu, the son of his name, Yannam, it will kshapayati, it will destroy. What will it destroy? Mahapataka dvantarashim. Mahapataka, the greatest sin, dvanta, the darkness of that rashim, the mass of the greatest, the mass of the darkness of the greatest sin. Mahapataka dvantarashim. Pataka dvantarashim. Pataka dvantarashim. Pataka dvantarashim. Just want to look up the word dvanta. I think it means darkness. I think it means like andakar. That's what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote. It's andakar. Means darkness, night. Okay, it also means night. The darkness or the cover of night. That's the, okay, so darkness, night. Cool, I like the night analogy. So there's just rashim, there's just like a massive night all around. And so that's our sin. And so actually, like when we look at, and the first thing in the morning, when the dark, if we wake up before the sun and the sky is still dark out, that's the dvanta. And we can think of that as ignorance. Everything's just dark. Can't see anything. It's all darkness. But then it's the night. And then, but the abhas means the faintest glow of the bhanu, of the sun, of the name. Just the abhas, nāmābhāsa, will destroy that darkness. You know, you'll start to see the sky start to become lighter and lighter and lighter. So, mahapataka dvantarashim. Pataka dvantarashim. Pataka dvantarashim. Pataka dvantarashim. Let's say that without looking. Pataka dvantarashim. Pataka dvanta. It's a long A, right? Dvantarashim. Pataka dvantarashim. Rashim. Long A. Rashim. Okay. You try saying that. Pataka dvantarashim. Okay. Now. Abhasopi kshapayati maha. Pataka dvantarashim. Abhasopi kshapayati maha. Pataka dvantarashim. Even the faintest glow, abhasopi kshapayati, it eradicates. Mahapataka dvantarashim. Even the greatest sin, the darkness, the mass of that darkness, of the greatest sin. Mahapataka dvantarashim. Abhasopi kshapayati maha. Pataka dvantarashim. Abhasopi kshapayati maha. Pataka dvantarashim. Let's do it one last time. Abhasopi Kshapayati maha pataka dvantarashim. 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 Now you want to try saying it? Abhasopi kshapayati maha pataka dvantarashim. Okay, that's the full verse. Now, I think the meaning of all the words is very clear, and you're probably getting close to memorizing each line. Now you just have to put them all together. But it's now very late. Wow, it's 40 minutes over time. So I'm going to end here. Oh, wait, you probably want this verse, right? Okay, I will tell you where you can find it. It's actually in Chaitanya Charitamrita as well. But I'll paste it here in our WhatsApp group. Sorry, not our, yeah, I'll paste it in our WhatsApp group, but I'll also paste it here in Zoom and also paste it on Facebook. So here it is on Zoom. You can ignore those numbers there. And now let me paste it here on here. Let me just paste one line at a time here. You can copy this. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you'll be able to copy this. Where is it? Here. I'm just going to paste it one by one. There's the first line. Okay, now the second line. Anyways, actually, if you just type in this in Google search, just type in the first three words. Tam nirvyajam bhaja. Then you'll get it. It's also quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So tam nirvyajam bhaja gunanidhim pavanam pavananam shraddharajan matiratitaram uttama shlokamolim prodyan anta karanakuhare hantayan nāmābhāno abhasopi kshapayati maha pataka dvantarashim. Let's see if I just want to test myself. I didn't know this verse at all. Before we started this program, I didn't know this verse at all. The only thing is I tried to translate it. So I had some, but I didn't actually try to memorize it. So let me see if I can do it. How does it start? Okay. Oh God, now I'm nervous. Okay. Tam nirvyajam bhajaguna nidhim. No, I don't want to do it. Pavanam pavananam. No, I'm on the spot. I'm getting too nervous. No, okay. Tomorrow I'm going to try to say it. Shraddharajam atitaram uttama shlokamolim prod prodyan. What is it? What rises? Prodyan anta karana. God. Sorry. Anyways. Oh yeah, it's prodyan anta karana kuhare. Anyways, when I'm nervous, I can't do it things. Yan nāmābhānor abhaso pi kshapayati mahapataka dvantarashim. Okay. Dandavat pranams. Thanks for staying with me for so long. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. If you memorize this verse, then I'd love to hear your recitation of it. You can send it to me on WhatsApp. All right. Haribo. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Thanks for staying for so long.